We have worked through other trades in the last segments, including shingle roofing, metal roofing, and gutters. Today we're going to look briefly at wood framing and hardy siding. So with that being said, let's get to work. Okay, so here are the plans I have drawn up for you. This is the house. Pretty good looking house. I've actually worked on this particular model before. Like I always say, go through your plans first and leave yourself notes. Floor plans, roof plans, elevations, walls, things of that nature. And once you've done that, we will go into the wood framing. So I'm going to pull up on-screen takeoff. And you can do this by hand too. You can do a length and width. But when you do a new construction, it's good to use estimating software. So I am only focusing on the wood framing in this section. This is CMU, block, and brick veneer. But in here, this is the basement. I'm going to section off. It has two, actually, patio over here, but a two-story patio here. So I'm going to section off the regular standard framing from the patio framing. The company I work for or am contracted with at the moment likes to separate between the two. So I have my basement square footage and I have my porch framing. Now at the end I'll have the grand total just to see what that is and make sure the numbers line up when I do a per square pricing. Then I'll go in and I'll do the same thing, except this one has the smaller porch that is only on the first floor. This is the first floor. I have the porch here, so the basement, and then I have the rest of the wood framing. Again, you could do the tedious work of length and width to figure out the square footage, but good software like this is great when you're working with new construction. So I have my first floor, my second floor, and my basement all calculated, and this is the third floor. Here are the dormers where the roof ends. This is a lower roof section, so I just need to grab this amount. And that's going to give me my total of standard, and then my total of porch framing, and then my grand total of framing here. Now, here are the steps to estimate good framing. Once you get your labor package. Now, you can get a labor package at somewhere like Husky or a good framing company like that sells the wood. You can send them the plans and they'll give it to you. Yes, you can do this by hand too, but if you're wanting to estimate on a large volume, go ahead and send that stuff off and have all your 2x4s, 2x8s, 2x6s, everything allocated and counted for. So on this particular job, the GC is actually going to be supplying the lumber package. So I have to work on labor, my coil nails, because we will provide those, the lift, the heavy equipment I will need to put it together, my hard cost of what this is, what it costs us to do it, and then I put my markup on. Now the dumpster is being provided by the GC, so I don't have to worry about a dumpster either. But if you were running this project as the general contractor, you would need to allocate for the materials as well as disposal along with these items here. Labor, coil nails, lift, hard cost, add your markup. And that will do it for framing. Quite easy. Let's move on to siding. So we are not worried about the brick veneer. That is going to be covered by others. I'm not estimating that for this project. But here we go. If you've already done the roof, then you have your eaves and your rakes. So figuring and calculating for soffit and fascia is all done. All you have to do is add your eaves and your rakes. If you have two different roof systems, make sure you add them both up. So I have metal roofing and shingle roofing. I add up all my eaves and all my rakes, and that gives me my soffit and fascia cover total. So that's already done. My porches, my porch ceiling, I just round up to the nearest square, and I had already did my porches on the, let me see if I can pull up the elevation here. I've got two ceilings here, and back to the other page, I have one ceiling here. And that was already counted for in the framing, So our porch ceilings are done because that's going to be a different material. The porch beams, I go through and count the beams, and a lot of times you can find those on the floor plans as well, but they're going to be on the elevation. So I count the porch beams because we're going to wrap those in a Hardie siding as well. Once I have my porch beams, I go into my board and batten. This is not lap siding. This is actually board and batten here. And if you're going to cut out for the windows, make sure your waste factor is more than if you're just pulling it and covering up the windows with your estimate or your takeoff, excuse me. But the board and batten is in yellow, and then from there I have my panel siding. So this is like a Hardie panel in blue, and it's a different material too, and it costs a little bit more than your board and batten. So I separate that out because I got to allocate more money for this. Then once I do that, I go, as you see, the pink is my trim. Let's see here, if you can zoom in some, besides the soffit and fascia, there's actually trim board running along this. Now, that will also vary based on price, but I'm going to go ahead and count for my trim. So I have, this is a board and batten, not a lap siding job, so I have my soffit and fascia. You can have that in probably every job. My porch ceiling, my porch beams, my board and batten, and my panel, and of course my trim. Now, once all that's done, we usually supply the materials for this type of project. So I'm going to do this, estimate this like this. Materials, my labor, my heavy equipment if I need a forklift or something, my dumpster disposal, and that's also going to be provided by the GC, the dumpster, but I would normally calculate that if I need to. This would be my hard cost, and then I would put my markup, my profit on top of that. And that's how you quickly estimate your siding on a project. Now, make sure when you're doing a siding project like this, sometimes they don't always show the sides of dormers or always show the sides of pop-out. So go through and see if all the elevations are correct. If they are hiding something, make sure you double up on a section to give yourself enough material, and make sure you put a decent waste factor on that. All right, guys, that wraps up this segment. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.